I'm one of your hosts today, Maddie, and we have an incredibly accomplished guest with us today, Suzanne Helbig, the Associate Vice Provost at UCI's Division of Career Pathways. With over 2 decades of experience in career services, leadership roles, and global career summits, and deep involvement in shaping student career development, Susan has an unmatched perspective on navigating professionalism and the evolving job market. We're going to dive into career growth, AI's impact, and the future of work. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited about our conversation.
So before we get started, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is your current position at UCI? What are some past experiences you've had?
Sure. So I've been at UCI, I think it's about 11 years now. And that whole time I've been in a leadership role in career services. I came here in 2013 to be the director of the Career Center. And since I've been here, the Career Center was elevated into the Division of Career Pathways. And so that's where we are today. And so what is the Division of Career Pathways? We provide direct service to students and employers and to our campus faculty and staff partners, while we also serve as a point of collaboration for the campus's career education efforts, because it takes a village to do career education at a campus as large. And a lot of people are excited and passionate about it. So we want to create forums to bring all of those people together and make sure that we're all rowing in the same direction. We're all using established best practices as well as becoming aware of emerging best practices. And I think we're going to talk a lot about an emerging best practice today when we talk about AI. I love Irvine, love UCI. My previous role was at UC Berkeley's Career Center, and I was there for 13 years, where I did about every role possible except for the leadership role. And I had to move to do that because that director wasn't going to retire anytime soon. So I saw this opening and jumped on it, and I've been super happy ever since.
Well, we're glad to have you here at UCI. What was the biggest difference coming from Berkeley to Irvine?
UC Irvine is, a good bit younger campus than UC Berkeley. And I think that lends itself to being more innovative, a little bit more quirky.
For sure.
Yeah. I just think that folks here are more willing to experiment, and they're just not as bound by tradition. And so it's really refreshing. I love it. And this is not to disparage the folks at Berkeley, but I feel like people here are super warm and super collaborative. I work across campus with colleagues all the time, and it's just a really great environment.
Amazing. I agree. UCI, people are open-minded, and that's good to hear. So that leads us to segment 1, career evolution and professionalism. So you've had an incredible career spanning various leadership roles and career services. Looking back, what were some of the biggest turning points that shaped your professional journey?
Well, we're going to go way back. I promise I won't make this answer super long, but we are going to go way back. When I was an undergraduate, I worked at my campus's career center. I just got a job there. I didn't know what career services was about. I was just like, that looks cool. Looks like a good job. But I loved it. And I loved it because I thought the work was important. And I thought the people they had their hearts in the right places. Just really wanting to be of service to folks. And I'm like, I like it here. So it piqued my interest. And I was definitely thinking this could be a place for me. And then one day, I was at the center and I overheard a conversation. I heard one of the career counseling staff talking to the director. The career counselor was saying, hey, I think I'd like to switch roles. Can I switch over to the employer relations side? Because I'd like to get the full breadth of experience because I want to be a director one day. And I heard that and I modeled my career after that. So when I got to UC Berkeley, I raised my hand for everything, even things I didn't know how to do. I was like, everything's figure outable. So I had, I don't know, maybe 5 different job titles there because I was putting myself on a rotational program on purpose. Um, so always raising my hand. And then one thing that I did that was a big turning point for me was I asked to go to a management leadership institute. And a lot of people would have argued that maybe I asked too soon. But my director, I think he saw something in me that I didn't even see, and he sent me. And then when I came back, he said, Suzanne, what was your favorite part of the Leadership Institute? And I said, oh, I think strategic planning. And he said, great, do it. And so again, like, commence the 3 days of like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? But figuring it out. And that I think was quite a springboard for my development in leadership. So it was really great. Yeah, I think it was really important having somebody see something in me and pushing me a little bit out of my comfort zone.
For sure, I agree. Wait, what were you studying undergrad or like?
Oh, yeah. So I was an English literature major, psychology and Spanish minor. But both of my parents were in the public school system. And so I think it's always been in the back of my mind being in education in some shape or form and of being of what I call real practical service to others.
I see.
But I love my majors. I wouldn't go back, or my minors, I wouldn't go back and change it. I love being an English major. It helps me every day.
Now we're going to get into segment 2. So the impact of AI on careers and hiring. AI is shaking up industries from automated hiring processes to AI-driven career coaching. In your experience, how is AI changing the way students and job seekers should approach career planning?
Yeah, so there's kind of 2 things going on there. One is the approach to the actual job search application. That's one thing. And then to career planning, which I see as a bigger topic. When it comes to applying for jobs, I think AI can serve as another perspective. I don't see it as quote unquote cheating. To use an AI tool to review your materials and give you some feedback. It's not that much different than asking a friend. I mean, given AI probably has a lot more information than your friend does to draw on. So I think it's a very helpful tool and people should take advantage of it. But when it comes to the actual career planning, for time immemorial, a question I've gotten in my 20 years are, what are the hot jobs? What are the hot jobs? And my answer has always been, I can tell you, but they're going to change. So for a long time, and I don't see this changing, my advice for career planning is get into a position, raise your hand when opportunities come up, always be learning. And that's what positions you for growth and advancement. So in a way, it hasn't changed career planning all that much. You just have to be very intentional about your AI training and staying up with it would be, I guess, how it's changed.
I totally agree. Well, to follow up with that question, do you think AI can truly replace career advisors?
No.
Okay, well, that was answered. What AI tools or resources are available by UCI students?
Okay, well, I can expand upon that. No, I don't think talking to an interface or we'll just call it a robot. I'm sure there's a technical term. It's just not the same as speaking with a person who can really help, surface who you are, your needs, your interests, your skills, and connecting those with opportunities, and not just opportunities in the ether, but a career counselor at your university is going to be aware of what employers are engaging most with your university and can help you connect them to those opportunities. So there's just, yeah, you would truly lose out if you didn't bring like a person into your process, I think. So that was the why I don't think,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And then what was the other question?
AI tools or resources
Uh,
available.
okay. Um, so yeah, so from the Division of Career Pathways, tools that we have available are Resume AI. So you can log into that, and the purpose of Resume AI is to make your resume pass the ATS, so the applicant tracking systems. So it's not there to make it necessarily perfect, but it's there to do job matching for you. So you put in a job description, you put in your resume, it gives you feedback on that. Um, and then beyond that, Handshake, while we might not think of it in terms of a chat GPT type AI. It does use AI and big data to suggest opportunities, events, resources, and programs for students. So we're always telling students about the advantage of putting more information into their Handshake profile so they get more relevant results. So those are two things. Beyond that, we've created some resources for students about how to use AI that is out there. So, we have lists of prompts that you might put into AI to help you with career research or interview practice or um, career exploration based on what you like to do. So we've curated some prompts like that, and we also have every quarter um, a couple of workshops on using AI in the job search. So really trying to help students use AI effectively and ethically.
I had a question real quick.
Sure.
When you're teaching students those workshops or you're teaching them about AI, are you using GPT or GPT or any
For
other?
for now, we're really focusing on ChatGPT. Yeah. We need we need a little tutorial on GPT. That's a guest I would like to bring over to DCP is to bring us through that a little bit. But wow, there's so many. I mean, I think just yesterday Google launched I forget what it's called, like Career Dreamer or something like that. There's these things are coming out every day. So we're kind of using right now the Kleenex of of LLMs as a chat GPT because in my limited experimentation with other platforms, it's if you can do that, you can use the other ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe you have something else to say about that. But I find that's pretty.
That's great.
It's kind of like why these things have taken off is because they're so user friendly, right? Yeah, they're so accessible in terms of being able to use them without technical knowledge.
Perfect. Thank you. We're going to move on to segment 4. So, what's your best fake it till you make it tip for students who are trying to sound confident in professional settings?
Realize that you're not faking it. You probably have a lot more skills and favorable characteristics than you think you do. We talk to a lot of students who take for granted what they've done, where they've come from, what challenges they've overcome. So I would say you're not faking it, and maybe that's something you do want to come and talk to us about, or like, here's my resume. Can we talk about what you see? Like what transferable skills do you see that I've had that I can use to fake it till I make it at a different type of position? So, yeah, I'd say you're not faking it. Yeah.
Okay. Be honest. What's the biggest ick you see on resumes?
Um, I think the biggest ick I see is when I see a resume that's just a wall of text and just jam packed, and it obviously hasn't been tailored for a certain position or a role. And um, oftentimes with that, we have to sometimes have kind of a difficult conversation with students about letting some of that go. And it doesn't mean that, it wasn't important, it didn't, contribute to who you are as a person. But in this day and age, when people are stressed for time, they can only take in so much information at once. So you want to kind of sharpen the focus on your resume for your reader. Put yourself in their shoes. They're going to have the ick too if it's just a wall of text, and that is it's literally like ick.
Yeah.
like I don't even want to read this. So yeah.
To expand upon that, like, what would you recommend students doing to like prevent that ick?
Yeah, well, that's a great use of AI. That's a great use of AI. Is to something we recommend is the job description you're interested in, cut and paste it into I just say chat GPT, but you know what I mean. And ask it to identify the skills that are most relevant in that job. You can put in your resume and say, now that you've done that, here's my resume. Where do you see the intersection? Where do you see the match? There's a much better way to word that prompt, and we have that on our website, but it's essentially like running the match. And and that'll help you edit down your resume. You can come and talk to us too.
Where can students find your resource center?
Yeah, so we are in Student Services 1 building, which is across from the Student Center Starbucks. Yes, we have orange umbrellas out on our patio. But most of the time when I say Student Center Starbucks, people know what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, if you're looking for help, you guys know where to go. Okay, what is one thing students totally overthink when it comes to their careers?
Overthink. I think that people get wrapped up in thinking their first career is setting them into motion for it's putting them on a track that they can't get off of. And they put so much stock in that first career, and they feel like they gotta get it right. They gotta get their dream job as their first job. And that's most of the time just not very realistic. And, every job is productive if you learn from it. And so, I think people overthink that first job, and they think it's going to make or break them. It's not if you use it as a learning experience and as a jumping off point. Most students are going to change careers. The statistic keeps changing. I hear 7 times, 15 times, whatever. Taking some of the pressure off of that first job.
I totally agree. What would you say is like an alternative like mindset people should have going into like their first jobs?
I guess I'd point to the growth mindset. That again, everything has value if you're learning from it. I think for your first job, ideally you've wanted to have done some, you don't want to just fall into it. But so, you've wanted to have done some research on yourself, some self-assessment. You've wanted to do some research with industry. Hopefully you've gotten some hands-on research like internships or micro internships or doing projects like this that help illuminate what what you might like to do. Hopefully you've taken those steps, and so you've landed in a good place for yourself. And I've kind of forgotten the question.
What was the question?
Oh.
That's okay. I'm pretty sure you
Okay.
answered it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
Sorry, sometimes I can just.
No, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next question then. Imagine you're writing a career cheat sheet for UCI students. What's the number one golden rule you would put on top?
Ooh, number one, I'm feeling like I'm repeating myself, but just always be open to learning and be intentional about learning. That is how you're going to future-proof your career.
Totally. I feel like there's no experience that's like a bad experience
Yes.
because you always learn something. You gain some sort of like skills from it.
Definitely.
Students should be open-minded and just try everything.
Yes. Yeah.
And career stress is a real thing. So what's your go-to like don't panic advice for students who are feeling lost?
A couple things. Know that being a UCI student makes you very attractive to employers. They know that it's very difficult to get into UCI. They know that you're top-notch talent. You have people coming looking for you. So, put that under your pillow and sleep well at night. And this kind of goes back, I think, to one of your other questions about fake it till you make it. Reframe your thinking a little bit. So instead of, I'm nervous, I'm lost, reframe it as I'm excited to go on this journey. I can't wait to take this on. There's something about that mental shift that can help you see the possibilities.
I totally agree. I would say I'm like a really anxious person, so like I'm freaking out at this interview right now, but
I am too, but
but I feel like we tend to like emphasize on what we're lacking instead of like focusing on the strengths we have. So I think that's also like a change of perspective students should like adapt to.
definitely. But like I ask you to try it the next time you're like gonna have a test or like maybe just something you're not looking forward to. Just say I'm excited. It really I don't know, for me it really works.
It does. It
Yeah.
has to do with like the neural
Right, the connections going on.
It's like
Yeah.
logically churning.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're altering how like
Your pathways.
Yeah. So okay, so what's one career mistake you want students to make because it's actually a great learning experience?
I think I'm getting tripped up on the word one. Which is fine. No, it's I'd say holding yourself back. Yeah. So I've said this a couple times. Don't think about, maybe what you can do today. Think about what you can learn to do. But a mistake would be not raising your hand and staying still. And once you start putting yourself out there and being vulnerable, you're gonna, maybe go home and say, oh, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Or like me, stay up at night thinking that. But which I don't do as much anymore, except I've gotten over it. Yeah. Yeah. But you're gonna, with practice of putting yourself out there, you'll get more comfortable with it. But generally speaking, kind of to what we've said, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying. Making mistakes is a sign of you're putting yourself out there, you're learning. So don't see mistakes as failure. See them as you're growing. That's a good
I
thing.
agree. Don't ever restrict yourself. Like, I'm currently a psychology major, but then I know I want to get into business, so I
Perfect.
try my best to like reach out for opportunities that will help me segue into that industry in the future. And I'm not really sure what specifically in business I want to do, but like there's like just don't restrict yourself.
Right.
Try everything,
That's right.
and that's how you'll find like what resonates with you most.
I agree. And I think emphasis on try. You can do a lot of thinking about things, but there's nothing like actually trying.
Yeah, you have to take action.
Yeah, right.
So to wrap it up, we have our last segment 5, personal growth and final advice. So reflecting on your career, what's one piece of advice you wish you had received when you were just starting out?
Sure. And I think I've shared a couple of them already, so I'll share something different. And I am a proud introvert, but I can't say I was always a proud introvert. I didn't know that introverts could be leaders. I had a certain image of a leader in my head, that they were a very outgoing, very gregarious, and that's not me. And so I put myself in a background role for way longer than I should have in my career. But now, I'm realizing as an introvert, introverts are great at active listening, strategic thinking, strategic planning. We're a calming force. There's a lot going on. It's nice to have that sense of calm. Yeah. So my advice to my younger self would be, embrace being an introvert. Introverts have so many strengths. Introverts and extroverts need each other. And yeah, don't hold yourself back because of that.
I am an extrovert, but I feel like so introverted around like other people in business. I feel intimidated, so I usually like shy away.
Yeah.
But you just have to realize like what you bring to the table. Like just because you're not as loud or like vocal as other people doesn't mean you're like less than them.
Correct. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. We all have values and strengths, and they might show up in different ways, but they all, ideally come together and make everyone better for coming together and sharing those unique aspects of themselves.
For sure. Well, this has been such an insightful conversation. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today. Before we wrap up, where can people connect with you if they want to learn more from your expertise?
Well, I'd say, LinkedIn would be a good place to connect with me. I'm over at the Division of Career Pathways, so you'll see me there at career fairs, at different programs, etc. We welcome everybody to come and engage with us at DCP. We've got so many services and programs for all majors, all class levels, and you'll see me there.
Thank you so much.